everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. Hi. Hello. I never quite know when it starts, so I'm just sitting here waving until I see the first comment pop up. There we go. Hello, servus. Good morning and welcome to today's live stream and the first week of Aloha 25 February, which I know that all of you know, but just in case there's somebody new, it is a monthly art challenge that I host here and over on my Instagram accounts, Aloha Watercolors and the Aloha Studios. Every month we have a color that we focus on. Last month in January we had the focus on the color blue, and then every week we combined it with another color. This month in February we're focusing on a non-color, black, and another non-color, which is white. But I thought it would be interesting to focus more on the shapes and the line work and the values, and then introduce another color as well. So this week we have black, white, and red, and we're painting chickens. So today's stream is going to be a very loose, a very quick study of different poses for chickens, and I'm going to break it down into a very simple shape with which you can start drawing your chickens. And then painting the chickens is basically just a few strokes. All right, if you hear gremlin sounds in the background, that's the puppies. I think they're having zoomies right now. All right, let's turn the camera around. Oh, I forgot to set up my iPad for your comments. I'm gonna do that real quick as well. But first, let me turn the camera around. Then we talk supplies. And yeah, just a second till I grab my iPad and have that ready too, so I can see. Sorry about that. Hope I didn't lose you guys. My screen just went black for some reason. Okay, here we go. That should work. I'm gonna readjust in a second. Just let me grab my iPad. Here it is. Okay. I think it's dead. Okay, let me see. Just give me another minute to try and see if I can wake that up and charge it. Sometimes, even though it looks like it's, the battery's dead, all it needs is a little initial charge, and then it comes back to life. Okay, so let me put this to the side until it works, and we can talk supplies. And then once my iPad is ready, I can read through all your comments. Okay, and as always, please let me know if the sound is okay, if the picture is okay. You can always let me know to zoom in or zoom out. So just write that in the comments. So today we're gonna use just some regular Canson XL paper. This is nothing fancy. This is actually just some regular wood pulp paper, so it has no cotton in it. But I think for quick sketches like this, it is absolutely sufficient. And I'm gonna put these on the side so we can look at them while we draw our new chickens. I have only two colors today. So I have a gray ochre, which looks black. It's called Shark in Aloha Watercolors. And I also have a medium crimson red, which is called Heliconia. And the white is basically just working with the white of the paper. So other than acrylics or gouache, you just leave the white of the paper to indicate that there is white. So you gotta kind of think around that when you design what you're painting. So if you want white, you just have to work around the white space. And then for brushes, I pulled out two. This is a size 6 and a size 4. I could probably do the whole thing with a size 6 brush. What I do want is a really pointy tip so I can do the details of the chickens. And these basically have such pointy tips that you can do most artworks with just one brush. These are the Shimoni art brushes. I do have 2 colored pencils. Those are both Caran d'Ache. Super Color 2, soft, so they're water soluble. It's black, I think it's charcoal. And the other one is ruby red. So these are totally optional. I added a few tiny details that are actually not even easy to see. Over here and here, a few lines, a few marks on the necks. But again, you can just do the sketches and the watercolor part and then be done with it. And then for the sketches, even though this is a totally different color, I'm using this purple Pilot color Aeʻo. It's a erasable mechanical colored pencil. But you can also just use one of your water soluble colored pencils or a regular pencil. It really doesn't matter. Okay, let me check on my iPad one more time. Here we go. There it is. 3%. Okay. Because I want to see what you guys are saying. Okay, oh, I have to put the volume down. Very important. Otherwise, we're going to have terrible feedback. Channel and live. Here we go. Still kind of slow. Just thinking about it. Da, 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 da. Come on, chickens. Okay, I'll put this to the side one more time because it just does not want to cooperate right now. Oh, okay, here we go. Wow, look at that. There's a commercial. Like, even though I'm watching it myself, that's insane, YouTube. My goodness. Okay. Ah, Mom's here. Hi, Mom. I hope you're feeling better. My mom was really sick for weeks with a bad cough, and I think it's going around both over in Germany where she lives and also here in Hawaii. So many people are sick. Mom says she likes my outfit. Thank you. My cap, yeah, my hat. I know you guys will probably laugh about this, but it's around, it's like in the lower 60s today, Fahrenheit, like 16 Celsius. And for me, it's pretty cold. So I have socks on, long pants, and I'm wearing a hat and a sweater. And yeah, I know, it's funny. But I have cold feet, so... And you know, I have been told that people lose warmth through the head the most. So as soon as you wear a cap or a hat, you're gonna be so much better off when it's cold. So that's why I'm wearing a hat, even though I'm in the house. Okay, let's start with breaking down some shapes of our chickens. I'm gonna move this over so you all can see. I'm starting with a circle for the whole chicken. So not just within the chicken, just the whole thing. I want to put my first chicken in here. And then I'm basically drawing a line that is a bit above the middle. So this would be the middle line. And then another line that crosses here. And it's a bit curved. And this is already the body of the chicken. So this space here is going to be our chicken. And then I draw another line here. So this is about a third of the line. So 1, 2, 3, about a third. This is here where this is where the tail goes. And then we follow the curve of the circle for one side of the neck and have this kind of a triangle shape for the neck. And then the head is kind of like attached here to our triangle. And then the comb. Ooh, have we talked about what this is called, this part of the chicken, the red part? So in German we say Kamm, which is comb. I wonder if it's the same in English. I feel like we've discussed this before, guys. Even though I don't remember drawing chickens in a live stream before, just in one of my videos. Okay, and then you add the beak. Servus, Tanya. Oh, Nina likes my hair. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you. So Nina says that in the Netherlands it's kam as well. Just like in German, comb. Okay, let's say kam. You guys are gonna learn a new German word today. One German word every session. Today it's kam. So this is spelled, not like you might think it is spelled. So let me see. Kam, comb. Okay. Totally unrelated. It's like, okay, let's learn some German words today. And also, it's Dutch. So, hey, you got like 2 birds with 1 stone. Oh no. Yeah, I do know that I have talked about how terrible I find that saying. The poor birds. I love birds, so I don't want birds to get hit by anything. Okay, for the chicken legs, when you draw them, make sure you have one of the toes pointing backwards and then the other ones forwards. And they have kind of pronounced, that part of the foot is kind of pronounced. So make sure that one part of the foot is pointing back. All right, for the next one, another circle. And again, this is for the whole chicken. And then in about the center, you can make a mark, move up a little bit, just a tiny bit, and then draw a curved line like this. And again, just like the first one, we have the main body shape in here. However, we'll make it a bit smaller so our chicken is not that big. So we'll go in from the outer rim or the outer line a little bit on both sides and then draw down like this. You can add the tail feathers here, the feet down here. Remember, one toe is pointing back and the other one's forward. We go back to the head or the neck. And you are still within that circle, see? So you can utilize
that line of the circle to draw in your triangle shape for the neck, and then just add a small circle for the head. And then the comb goes on top. Place the eye in here, the beak. So for the beak of a chicken, it is slightly curved, so it's not like this. This is more for the smaller singing birds usually. But for the chicken, you want to make sure your beak has a slight curve like this, and then goes back like that. Or the other way around would be like this. Just a small pointy tip facing downwards towards the end. All right, let's do another chicken in this style. So circle. This one's pointing to the left. We are dividing the circle in the middle this time, but yeah, well, attempting to divide it in the middle with a line that starts here and goes to the upper right hand side. We're gonna make the chicken a bit smaller again, so we'll go inwards about this and draw the line into the circle like that. The tail feathers on this one are a bit bigger. You know, you have options. You can do all of your tail feathers bigger if you like that, or you can make them really small. For this one, I decided to go a bit larger with the tail feathers. Add the feet down here, pointing forward, one pointing backward. Okay, so we have our shape here. And then again, adding a triangle for the head and a circle on top. So I'm still staying within my big circle here to get the proportions right. The eye, the beak, it's straight and then goes down a little bit, curves down a little bit, has a pointy tip, and goes back to the head. I really like these. They're even wilder than my original chickens. I was definitely trying not to press down so hard with my initial sketch and today, so that you can see I'm really pretty rough with the sketch, but I like it. All right, I'm looking over to the chat. Hello, Alina. All right, my dears, so far, any questions? I'm gonna take a sip of tea. It's so good. Warm tea on a, well, Hawaiian cold day. Is Tracy here today? I wonder. Tracy, my friend from Oahu. I wonder if they have the same cold weather over there on the other island. We recently had a relatively big storm here. You know, usually when they say there's going to be a storm, it unfortunately hits the other islands, but here on this island and on this side, we're usually very safe from storms, luckily, super lucky. But this time, yeah, it came. It came and it was here, and we had a power outage a whole day, and a few trees fell over, you know, these kind of things. And ever since then, I feel like the temperature has dropped a little bit. Okay, let's do one more. Circle. And so we'll basically divide the circle here at the first third and the bottom third-ish. It's more like a quarter of the circle, I'd say. Just make your circle shape more into an ellipse is what I'm saying. Add the tail feathers on this end, and then round your chicken out here. And now for the head, you want to give your chicken a round line over here. So I guess the only thing that the circle does is define the length of your chicken, and then you also know where to put the tail feathers. But the other parts are a little bit different than our previous chickens. Then if you like, you can mark another line here. Again, I'd say it's about a quarter of the circle. And this is where the neck of the chicken comes in. So around here, and then it has a slight dip over here. Then the comb, the beak, the eye, and then this part. Now when the chicken stands like this, the legs go back a little bit. So they start approximately here. Just so the whole composition balances out. You could probably also get away with adding the feet a little bit more closer towards the head, but it might look a bit strange. So in reality, maybe the legs are even further in the back. You puppies, calm down a little. Calm down. So I say calm down and they just jump on my lap. Yeah, hi. Hi, Malibu. Hey, Leon. Okay, good girl. Uh-huh. All right. Yeah, the calm down command works fantastically. Like a charm. Hi, Leo. So my neighbor's at work and his 3 dogs are over in my house today playing with our dog, which of course is absolutely fabulous. And for all of you who've joined my live streams before, you know that this is happening every single time. That's no news. Let's do another chicken. A circle here. We divide it in half with a slight curve like this. This might actually be the easiest chicken of them all, because this is basically the chicken. Go down. So we go in a little bit from the rim of the circle. Then go straight up and add the head and the neck like this. So like this and back. Add the beak. Well, I've done better. That's okay. And a cute little tail for this one. And the feet. Can maybe add a wing in here. Okay, let's do the last one, which is one that's sitting down. Okay, circle. Make the circle a bit smaller on both sides. So we're creating another elliptic shape. This is the body of our chicken. Tail feathers. And then draw another line through the center this way. And this is where your head will be. So we're center. We're basically in the center of the circle. Elliptic shape for the head, and then you connect it to the elliptic shape here. Add the beak, the comb. I think this one I'm gonna draw with her eyes closed because she's resting. Been a long day. Okay, here are the sketches of our chickens. And hey, if you're tired today, or you've had a long day like her, then this could be it. This could be all you do today. Do a few little sketches and then do the painting later, or not do the painting at all. That's totally fine. If you have done your sketch with pencil and it's black, then you can just add a little bit of, of red, and boom, challenge done. Prompt is done. Because as I said, it is just black and white this month with a little bit of color added. So let's start coloring our chickens. And I'm looking over to the chat. More people are joining. Yay! Hello, Karianne, Agnieszka. Wonderful. All right. And as always, let me know if there are any questions. I'm using my size 6 round brush, grabbing some water, and now I'm just laying down water all over my first chicken here on the top left. So this is basically going to be a very black chicken. I'm not leaving any white space for this one intentionally. I have my black ochre here, or actually, yeah, they call it gray ochre. I really feel like it's interesting that this pigment is called gray ochre, even though it's so black. And then with quick swipes on my brush, I'm painting the tail feathers. There's really nothing more to it. Just these 1, 2, 3 strokes. I just picked up a little bit more water with my brush, so this is really very, very much a lot of water here. And now I'm just dropping in the paint, my black watercolor, all across the chicken, more towards the center. So I'm leaving out some space here because I want to add some red. You can play around with dropping in more paint where the wing would be around here. And it's all gonna blend in nicely later on. Okay, I'm rinsing my brush completely. I'm picking up some of my medium crimson red. It honestly does not matter what kind of red you use, or even what kind of black in this challenge. And I did mention on my Instagram account that this year round, you can use any medium you like. So you could paint your chickens in gouache or acrylic. You could do a collage. You could even carve some stamps. I mean, it is all open. I was actually thinking about carving stamps with some chickens. I think that would be cute. And then to use them on my packages. But yeah, I have so many ideas and the days seem so short to get all the ideas done. Okay, I'm gonna leave this chicken alone for now because I want everything to dry before I draw in the details for the head. Okay, and over in the chat, Alina says, she's the sleepy chicken. Well, I get it though. It's already 9 or 10 p.m. over in Romania, isn't it? Okay. Oh, my husband's making breakfast and it smells so good. He's frying some onions. We're still missing that button, the live stream button that makes you be able to smell things. But let me tell you, it smells great. So for our next chicken, we're gonna do a bit more of a white and black space in here. So I have my brush rinsed, it's full of water, and I'm laying down a layer of water, completely filling the neck. But then for the rest of the chicken, I'm basically just drawing some random lines with water, leaving out some areas. So some areas will remain without water, and later on they will remain white. So you should be able to see the irregular sheen on my chicken. So all the areas that are wet reflect the light, and then in between there are a few areas that are without water. And now picking up some of my black paint, dropping that in very lightly in the neck, because later on I'm going to go back and add a few more dark black strokes and details. And that is also the point where you can go in with some colored pencil to add some texture and marks. I picked up a more opaque consistency of my black paint. So lots of pigment, less water for the tail feathers. Then I'm going to pick up a little bit more water in my brush and dropping in the black paint. So I'm really not painting right now. I'm just dropping and drop, drop, drop. And wherever there's water on the paper, you can see that it spreads nicely and it stops wherever there's no water on the paper. Ooh, and I can actually draw in the wing shape because I left that dry. And you can see that wherever I do black strokes in the dry area of the paper, it's very crisp and defined. So whenever you do a kind of loose technique like this, you can always play around with where you lay down water, drop in some paint, and where you create crisp lines. So you can think about this before you start laying down your water. And this way you can create a design utilizing, you know, the qualities of watercolor, how it blends and mixes super nice with other colors and water, but can also look very crisp when you lay it down with a lot of pigment and not so much water. Picking up some more red. It's again very opaque, and because I have not painted this area with water first, I have nice crisp edges. And over here you can see it's mixing beautifully with the black. And if you don't want to follow the rules of the challenge too closely, you can of course also use some orange or yellow for your beak. But here on the island, I've seen chickens with lots of different colors, including their feet and their beaks. So I've seen everything from red and black and yellow. Yellow seems pretty common, but not with all chickens. And I gotta say, we have a lot of chickens with black feathers and red markings. So this is actually how I got the idea for for this prompt. I wanted to do something not too tricky for the first week of this month. And as you all know, I love painting animals, so this seemed like a good prompt for this week. I'm hopping back to my first chicken because it is much drier at this point and allows me to go back in with my red and paint in these details here around the head. And of course, I could wait longer. I could wait until everything is super dry if I want to minimize the risk of having everything blend together. But because this whole exercise is about letting watercolor flow and blend however it wants to, I'm not too concerned about that. All right, over in the chats, Stephanie says, ich bin jetzt auch da. Hallihallo and welcome. Okay, let's get to our little sleepy chicken. I'm rinsing my brush. I picked up some water again and painting all of my chicken except for the head and the details of the head. So I'm painting around everything that makes the head, but filling the whole body, the tail, the neck, everything else with water. And I glued down my palette so it wouldn't wobble. This was my first ever palette that I made, and it's super wonky, so it wobbles. And I stuck a little piece of kneadable eraser, but then of course, you know, it sticks to my desk. Okay, I'm picking up some of my black pigment and adding some water. I want a very light gray for this chicken. Maybe a little more water. So I'm just dropping in more and more water until I feel this is a good consistency. And this paper dries really fast, as is true for most wood pulp paper, especially if they have a smoother surface. So you might want to re-wet your paper if, you know, after mixing your paint to the right consistency, the paper is already dry. Okay, just a little bit of gray.
No. Don't do that. Outside.
Okay, and a very opaque mix of black for the tail feathers. And let's drop in some more for the neck. I just love this technique so much. It is a bit unpredictable in the areas that are wet, but I really think the more you paint with watercolor, the more you get to embrace the unpredictability. Ooh, that's a cool word. I feel very fancy now. Of that medium. For me personally, it really was one of the best exercises to mute down my expectations of my art and to kind of let the material do what it wants, as opposed to trying to control every single step, which for my personality, which is I want to do everything and I want to know how everything goes, was quite the good lecture, honestly. I'm telling you guys, this was a very good practice in letting go, and like in general, I think becoming more easygoing, I guess. Maybe that's not right. I'm not easygoing, but expectations of my artwork definitely were there, and I wanted it to look a certain way. And now these days I'm more like, yeah, whatever. You know, it's interesting how that goes. What are you doing, puppies?
Peeing.
Oh, and barking? Oh, this is a madhouse. So, who peed? Kea?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, puppies. That's enough now. You can't sit on my lap right now because I'm, you know, because of chickens. Yeah. Sorry, we'll play later. Okay, I'm gonna check on how wet. Yeah, it's wet. But you know what? Why not? I just gave you this pep talk about letting things go and go with the flow. So let's just put in that color, and if it blends and mixes, then that's all right too. Like it's doing here right now. If you don't like that your chicken is now looking like it's bleeding, you can, of course, rinse your brush and dry it and then pick up that excess red paint and kind of blend it in with the black around it. Maybe even add some more black. All right. Okay. Agnieszka is working in caps. And she likes the shape of my paintbrush. Yeah, these are really, really high quality. So one of my paint ambassadors, Denise from Switzerland, sent these to me. Super nice. And it's actually a lady in Switzerland that sells these. But the brushes are made in Germany. And really, really fantastic brushes. I would say they're similar to the silver edition brushes. Not as soft though. You probably know these ones. These are quite popular, I guess, but very, very soft. So these ones here have slightly longer bristles and they're not as soft, so they snap back a little better, which is something that I really love. So if brushes are too soft, I don't really enjoy working with them too much. All right, let's change the layout of the desk here a little bit so I can spread the double page here. And we continue with our other chickens over on this side. Okay, so in the original chickens, you can see this one is going to be mostly black again. And then these two, we're going to work more with the white space. So mostly white and then a few details with our black. Where can I put this? I think I'm going to have to put this out of frame for now. Or maybe, hold on, I can do this. Here we go, that works. Okay. And as I predicted, I think I'm going to do everything with my size 6 brush today. And lots of water on my whole chicken. Quick strokes, big strokes, and then dropping in some black watercolor all around. This is a bit too thin, so I'm going to pick up some black paint straight from the pan and going back in there. And again, you can indicate that there's a wing by adding a bit more opaque black to that area and also to your tail feathers. I kind of want to avoid that it looks like I'm doing outlines. So if it's too strong of an outline, I'm going to drop in some more water to blend my black and then continue with my broad strokes. All right, and this is done for now. Let's put in a black beak for this one. And as you can see, I'm still using my size 6 round brush. I'm just holding it more upright so I can utilize the very pointy tip to get that detail in. For the next chicken, same procedure. For the neck, we're going to lay down some water. And then just do a few random strokes with water like this and fill out the back of the chicken with another compact layer of water. But in between, just a few waves with water. I picked up a little bit of black, so it's really more water than pigment. And then a bit more. So black pigment, less water. Quick strokes for the tail. And a black butt. Which is, if you live in the US and you're familiar with that brewery, Deschutes, they have a beer. And I swear I had no idea how it's pronounced. So I'm in the store and I see, okay, let me write this down because this is so funny. I see this word, B-U-T-T-E. I mean, who wouldn't pronounce this butt, right? So I'm looking at this beer. It's like, ooh, black butt. Oh, that sounds really good because I like dark beer. So I buy it and then I'm like, hey James, you wanna look, I bought black butt beer. Of course he doesn't correct me, right? So I go on forever and ever calling this beer black butt. Nobody ever corrects me. They're all just laughing their butts off because it's not pronounced like that. It's actually pronounced like butte. Yeah, you know. So if you have a nice foreigner and among you, then just tell them how it's pronounced. No matter where you live, just tell them. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, that's why I'm telling you guys the story, right? Because it's so funny. And of course, at this point, I don't call it Black Butte. Well, among my friends. Of course, if I'm talking to somebody who doesn't know the backstory, I will now know how to pronounce it correctly. But yeah, drinking black butt beer with my black butt chicken. Okay, so while I was telling you all this, I did a few more things. I added really opaque black to the neck. With my brush upright, I added the outline of the beak and a few random strokes to indicate the chest here. But I'm gonna leave the rest of the chicken like this. Okay, so Sabina says in the chat, I ordered chicken tights for 20 years, not thighs. Oh my gosh, I love it. And it's even on point with this, with our theme. Chicken tights. Oh, this is so fun. Thank you, Sabina. This really makes me happy on so many levels. I mean, of course, chicken wearing tights is also a very, very fabulous illustration, wouldn't it? Like little, I don't know, striped tights. Oh, so cute. Okay, last chicken. Again, we're gonna do mostly water for this one. Mostly water and not so much black. Quick strokes for the tail. Picking up some black pigment, dropping in a bit more for the neck, and then just very few strokes for the body, just basically down here, those two. A bit more opaque for the tail feathers. Okay, over in the chat, Agnieszka has a question. If I may ask, what is everyone's favorite pen to use on cold press or rough watercolor paper? Waterproof, of course. I have a pen, but it catches sometimes, so the flow is not consistent. Okay, are we talking fine liner here? Is that the question? Kind of like a micron pen to do outlines? Let me see. So I do love the microns, and what I do recommend is that you just switch from, well, maybe this is a bit too much, but micron actually has different sizes. So this is a badass huge size. I'm not sure I would recommend that necessarily. But see, this is a very thick and consistent line. But as I said, it might be a bit too much. But they come in different sizes. So everything from a size 1 to a size 12. So you might maybe want to try the 08 size. It's kind of still big, but not as chunky as the number 12. It's the only one I have here. And honestly, there are other brands that are super good, like Stettler and, you know, Uniball. And for me personally, this is not so much a matter of the brand because they seem to be similar. However, I do love that the microns come in the really big sizes, like 8, 10, and 12, I believe. But I don't want to do, you know, like a commercial for the microns here. So if you have an opinion about this, please write that in the comment. Another thing you could try, Agnieszka, is of course using a dip pen and ink. It's more, how do I say it? Adventurous, because the line is not consistent usually, and you need a lot of practice to get those lines right. However, I find that a dip pen and ink is really very reliable. And if you use an ink that is waterproof, then you can have beautiful line work. The same goes for fountain pens. So you might want to think about using a fountain pen, but you probably have to do the line work after you do the painting because most fountain pens are going to clog if you use them with waterproof ink. So I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you guys, I know. But these are the 3 options that I would tell you is a larger size micron pen or a dip pen with ink or a fountain pen with regular ink that you have to use after you paint. All right, and now with all the talking, my chickens are looking much drier, which means I can add some red details. So I'm working straight with my paint from the pan and adding details on the heads and feet. Still working with my size 6 brush, just holding it differently for different outcomes. Oh yeah, he's having a good hair day. Wook! You know how cocktail birds can do that? They can actually raise the feathers on their head. It just amazes me every time I see that, how something that seems so static and stuck like feathers on a bird can bloop, go up like that. And of course, I know I'm totally aware that these here are not feathers. This is, of course, not feathers here, the red part. But yeah, I just had this association, which I have all the time. So you're probably used to me doing that as well if you've been around my live streams for a while. That I make all these weird connections in my head, and then when I talk about them, you're probably like, what? Where are we now? I'm getting very sloppy down here with my poor chicken's legs. Okay, and my mom's trying to understand the chat. So, okay, Mom. Vorher habe ich erzählt, dass ich manchmal Sachen falsch ausspreche auf Englisch oder in Englisch und dass Leute mir das nicht immer sagen und das ist dann sehr lustig. Das führt dann zu Missverständnissen. Und die Sabine hat auch so ein Beispiel und zwar mit Chicken Thighs. Das sind Hühnerschenkel. Und im Englischen gibt es ein Wort, das ist ähnlich. Chicken Thighs, Chicken Tights. Und Tights ist eine Strumpfhose auf Englisch. Ja, und das hat sie immer falsch gesagt, hat sie immer falsch bestellt. Okay, guys, I'm gonna switch back to English. Just a quick explanation from my mom because it's gonna be so much easier for her to understand me talking German than English. Okay, you guys, what are you saying? I think we're pretty good on the chickens, like the basic shapes and everything and colors. All we need to do now is add some details, mostly the eyes. And we can, of course, also add some texture. But, and you can see that really nicely here, because I use so much water and I do use a granulating black pigment, there's such a nice granulating effect, which leads to the chicken feathers having texture naturally, or here. So this is the cool thing about granulating paints. You can create texture without doing much, basically. Just have to use a lot of water, and the granulation will take over. Okay, hold on, let me rearrange things here on the desk a little bit. Okay, so many cute black butts here. All right. To make things easier on yourself, you can draw in the eyes with a colored pencil, of course, instead of using a tiny brush. Or you can use a fine liner, a dip pen, a fountain pen, you know, all that. I do love working with color pencil and watercolor in this combination. So right now I'm going in with my water-soluble colored pencil. The reason I'm using a water-soluble colored pencil is that it's super, super, super soft. And even though my paper is still moist, the very soft lead of my water-soluble colored pencil is not gonna rip the paper. And apologies for repeating this in every single live stream, but I always feel like, you know, maybe somebody out there has not joined my live streams yet and it might be news to them. So that's why I'm repeating myself every single time. Okay, actually not even sure what I can do with my red colored pencil. Let's see. I mean, we could maybe add some red in the feathers. Yeah, not bad. I didn't do that in my original chickens, but I kind of like it. It adds a little more color variation. Ooh, and this actually shows up on top of the black. Now this is interesting. See how that stands out? Kind of like that. Let's try and see if that works on these feathers down here because they're really dark black. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, now I really like that. Okay, I think I'm liking it. I'm gonna do this for all of my chickens. So I'm gonna add my red colored pencil on top because it looks so nice and opaque. Very quick strokes. Don't overthink it. Just follow the lines and the shapes of your chicken. So if you're following a curved line of the neck here, don't make the strokes straight like this. Make them curved, following the line. Follow the lines. And adding the eye. So I'm simplifying the eyes a lot. I'm basically only drawing the eyes like this, which is not really a chicken eye, but I don't care because this is just very, very quick sketching. You are very welcome, of course, to look up some real chicken eyes and make them more chicken-like. Even add some yellow in the eyes, for example, or around the eyes, which is very common. I think. Oh, I missed a few eyes over here. And so now I'm just hopping back and forth between my chickens and checking if I maybe forgot something. Look over here, the beak. Okay, and adding some more red on top. And maybe some black for these tail feathers here. Naturally, the more rough your paper is, the more surface texture it has, the more the color pencil texture will stand out. So if you don't like that, then you can either use a smooth paper, a hot press paper, or you can add your texture with watercolor. Just use a fine brush, and you can do all this, what I'm doing now with a color pencil, with watercolor as well. It's just going to look a little bit different, more smooth. This is a fun effect here too. So because the neck of this chicken is still super wet, there's a lot of pigment on it, I can basically scrape off the pigment with my colored pencil. I feel like it's not picking up on camera. I hope it does a little bit. That's pretty fun. Okay, I hope I didn't smear everything. Let's see. Nope, all good. All right, yay. Okay, I think we're pretty good with the chickens, and I do encourage you, try this technique out for different animals. I mean, I'm aware, of course, some animals are way more difficult in their proportions. Not everything fits into a circle nicely like the chickens do, but at least for birds, I think for a lot of birds, you can try this technique. Simplify the shape, totally simplified, and try some quick watercolor strokes, and then maybe refine with some colored pencil or fine liner. I think it really helps us to break down what we want to draw into shapes and make it easier on yourself. And with time, I think if you do this a lot, you will automatically get a bit more fancy with your shapes. Or maybe not. But I think the point is that this has very low threshold to get started, because you know, okay, I'm gonna do quick, easygoing sketches. I'm gonna break down whatever I want to draw into easy shapes. And I honestly think it's more enticing to sit down and draw, at least for me. If I already know I'm gonna spend 5 hours on my painting, I'm probably gonna do something else, or do something like this first, and then I'm actually quite happy with that. Okay. Hello, Lisa. Yeah, you're really late because we're kind of done, but that's not a problem because as you all know, you can always re-watch my live streams. Okay. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera around real quick one more time to say goodbye to all of you and talk about the next prompts and the next live stream. Here we go. Well, I hope you liked today's session. I'm just gonna hold the phone for now. So next week, I'm gonna try and upload a video tutorial for the cloud studies. And the week after, the prompt is city silhouette using black, white, and neon pink, which I love. And there will be a live stream. The live stream is already in the list of live streams. It's already scheduled. So please check that out. I think it's on February 17th. And yeah, so I'm gonna have a video upload next week and then we're gonna have another live stream. Okay, until then, happy creating. I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. As always, please leave a comment down below. Could be anything, could be just a bunch of emojis, but it really helps my channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Aloha.